Once again, I would like to welcome all the guests who are joining us for another episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times. Today is a very special day for all of us because we have, for the first time, we have three Olympic gold medalists on one platform, and myself, along with Mr. Murad Khan, we would be in conversation. We shall begin the episode shortly, so please stay tuned with us. Murad, sir, you could say a quick hello to everyone while guests are
Hi,
still joining us. Thank
hi. Can
you.
you hear me nice and clear? Because I'm in a very
Absolutely. We
zone which is not very comfortable in terms of
no
signal.
no
So
no no. We can absolutely hear you as we have our guests joining us this evening.
I think Peter has joined. Peter, hi.
Yes.
You have to unmute, Peter. We can't hear. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me now? Hello,
Yes.
hello. Well done, everyone. I'm just trying to get my technical part. Seems to be working. That's great. Wow, I've got a lot of screens. This is fantastic. I've just seen I see everyone's sort of muted. How fascinating. And you can sort of flick through and have a look. This is wonderful. The wonders of modern technology.
Yeah.
For all the guests who are still joining us, I would like to welcome you all to yet another episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times. And so that all the guests understand who are going to be a special guest for the evening for conversation, I would like a special video to be played, which we will play once again once we start with the episode. But just to have a better understanding of our guests this evening, I would request for the video to be played. Thank you. thank you. That was a very nice video. That definitely helps us all understand our special guest for the day. As all the guests are joining us, I would like to welcome everyone. And within few minutes, we are going to start with our another episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times. We should just wait for a few minutes till our guests can join us. Thank you. Like I said, as our guests are joining us, this is for the first time in India that we have three Olympic gold medalists on one platform, something that has never happened before, and which makes this particular episode and series of Manav Rachna Happy Times very special. We have all the very special guests who joined us from India and even across the world. So therefore, we are going to join, we are just waiting for our guests to join us and we shall start shortly. I would like to thank everyone who's taken out time and they're joining us for Manav Rachna Happy Times. We have most of our guests with us, and sure, we're going to be very soon. We'll be starting with our important and interesting episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times. We already have Mr. Peter Wilson with us, and soon we'll have our other two guests. It is very kind on the part of all our guests who have agreed to join us because of the time difference in their respective countries. Yes, we are very happy to wait for them for this episode. Just received a message from Mr. Fehaid. He is going to be with us shortly. Just connecting for this interesting episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times. I would like to welcome all those special guests who've taken our time and they've joined us already. We shall be starting shortly.
Fahid is just joining. He just messaged me. He's already
That's
beyond
right.
the. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. I'm sure it's going to be worth the wait for everyone because it's for the first time, like I've said, that we'll have three Olympic gold medalists who will be joining us for an interaction with us, with all of us. We have students, we have all the people from our country and across the world joining us for this special episode of Happy Times. So yes, we are happy to wait. And thank you for your patience. I'm happy to share with everyone. We also have Mr. Fehaid Al-Deehani. He's also joining us for this session. He is, I think, already here. He's joining us.
Yeah, I can see him. There is there.
Yes, wonderful. And now we are only waiting for Mr. Vincent. He should be here within less than a minute. Okay. Mr. Vincent sends a message even he's logging into this special episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times. With that, once again, I would like to welcome everyone to yet another very interesting and important series of Manav Rachna Happy Times. I have mentioned that it's for the first time that we have 3 Olympic gold medalists on one platform, something that has never happened before. When we look back in life and we introspect the various aspects, we do realize that happiness always comes from small and simple things of our daily lives, or those moments that we really lived well when we were 100% there in those moments. So Manav Rachna Happy Times is about fun conversations with experts from different fields and to understand who they really are in their real life. What are those little things that make our experts who they really are? So the idea of Manav Rachna Happy Times is to leave a smile on your face and to leave you feel energized, inspired, and motivated. Before I can go any further with this special series of Manav Rachna Happy Times, I have with me Vice President Manav Rachna Educational Institutions, Dr. Amit Bhalla. Sir, I would like you to please say a few words and welcome all our special guests before I can actually begin with the session.
Thank you, Ritika. So, a great honor to welcome the Olympic medalist here on this platform. Manav Rachna, my hi to Fehaid, to Peter, and I think we are still waiting for Mr. Hancock to join. It's really an honor for all of us here who have come together to listen to some happy moments and some success stories of champions. And we started this series to create a time where everybody is talking about a lot of negative words, talking about depression, talking about recessions, talking about challenges. So we thought, let's talk about opportunities, let's talk about happiness, let's talk about enjoyment, let's talk about their personal life journey. So we created this concept of creating Manav Rachna Happy Times. It's like reading a newspaper. Every day, if you read it from the front page, you see a lot of news not very positive on the front page. But if you start from the back, from the sports edition, you see a lot of success stories and a lot of achievements of different people, which makes you happy. There's always, I personally started from the sports column every day instead of starting from the front page, because sports always gives you a sense of achievement, a sense of happiness, and the hard work and effort what people have put in, even what people are learning because of their failures. And would like to also welcome Murad Bhai, who is here with us. Thank you very much for always being there with
Thank
the
you.
entire Manav Rachna family, the bigger shooting family per se. So today, when I see all shooters, when I see sports, I call it as a shooting family around the world, and it has been proved that we have people from different parts of the world together because of shooting. So again, hearty welcome to all of you, and hope that we'll have an interesting, nice session. We'd like to know some interesting things about your life and your successful journey as well. Once again, thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. What also makes this series of Manav Rachna Happy Times very interesting is that I have with me Mr. Murad Khan, who's going to be in conversation with our special guest for today. While everyone knows Mr. Murad Khan very well, but I would still like to mention Mr. Murad Khan has worked for more than 25 years with Tata Steel and was the executive director. While he was with Tata, he started shooting at a later age, and then he made the Indian track team and then Indian double track team. He's a recipient of Arjuna Award and also a former member of Athletes Committee of ISSF. Now the chairman of Athletes Committee for the Indian Federation, he has been a coach to one of the most decorated Indian shooter, Mr. Ranjan Sodhi, who is a recipient of Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award and Arjuna Awardee, former world number one and a former world record holder. Now,
MashaAllah.
Mr. Khan has ventured into movies. He has produced many documentaries and movies on sports, Kwab being one of his prominent movie. So welcome to yet another
Thank you.
episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times. I'm sure that you being here is definitely going to add a lot.
Thank you, Ritika.
With that, it is an absolute honor for me to welcome our guests today. As you all have seen the creative, we have three Olympic gold medalists who have joined us on this one common platform. To start with Mr. Fehaid Al-Deehani. He is one of the most prominent shotgun shooters in the world who has got 3 Olympic medals, the only person in the world who has won an Olympic medal in trap and double trap. He won his last gold medal as recent as in 2016 in double trap. He has been an officer and a commando in the Kuwaiti military. Of course, we have so many questions on that and we'll come back to that. He started shooting in 1988 and he has seen the sport grow and evolve. He has also enhanced his skills and is one of the most experienced shooters we have today. Sir, it's an honor to have you on the show with us today. Next, we have Mr. Vincent Charles Hancock. Just for everyone, he's an Olympic athlete. He won the gold medal in the men's skeet at the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing and 2012 Olympics in London. He's the first skeet shooter to repeat as an Olympic champion. He has won the world champion. He has been the world champion 4 times. In 2005, at the age of 16, he won his first world championship title in men's skeet and went on to win the prestigious International Shooting Sport Federation Shooter of the Year award. He also won world championships in 2009 and again in 2015. Vincent qualified for the Olympic team and represented United States in Rio in 2016. He's also qualified for the Tokyo Olympics, which should hopefully happen next year, and we should see him win a medal and another feather in his cap. And also to add, he has won 16 World Cup medals, out of which 12 are gold. And we have Mr. Peter Wilson with us. Peter Robert Russell Wilson is an Olympic gold medalist 2012 and a former world record holder and former world number one. He was the youngest double trap shooter in 2012 Olympics where he competed and won. He is now the member of current British trap team. He has also won many World Cup and European medals. I would like to thank all of you for joining us for this show today. I'm very certain that all the young aspiring shooters, students, and everyone who's listening to us, you're going to be a huge source of inspiration and learning for everyone. I would like to mention here, we were also supposed to have Sheikh Ahmed Al Maktoum with us today, who also happens to be Peter Wilson's coach. However, due to his mother's demise, he could not join us. Our prayers for his mother and the entire family. But with that, I would also once again like to thank everyone who have taken our time from their busy schedules and you have agreed to be a part of this Manav Rachna Happy Times episode. Thank you so much. I would now request my team to please play a video before we can go any further with interesting conversations. Thank you. That was a wonderful video, and I'm sure it has brought some old wonderful memories back to everyone's mind, and you're smiling already. Well, such is victory and such is achievement. Whenever you look at your pictures, the wonderful moments, it brings a smile on your face, and that's exactly what Happy Times is also all about. And now I think everyone is very keen and eagerly waiting to listen to our special guests for this day. And I would like to start with Mr. Al-Deehani. Sir, you are such a legend, and winning a gold medal at the age of 45 is not easy. You won your first medal in 2000, and then you won a gold in 2016. This speaks a lot about your focus, your perseverance, patience. How did it feel winning the gold medal?
First of all, let me thank you for this fantastic conference between these legendary champions as Hancock and Peter Wilson. They are very great also. Winning a medal is not very easy. You have to have your the proper task and how to reach this task. You need to work very hard, and if each champion, they work very hard, but they work with the straight line. They work like they follow they follow the proper way, because there is two kind of training or practicing. Either you practice with wrong things and you will have long time to reach your goal, or you have to learn, which you have to making the training. Then after the training, you have to practice to the proper things. Believe me, I work 8 hours daily to reach my goals. 8 hours, 5 hours shooting, and 3 hours in the gym. So with this effort and my all experience with, I was shooting for 30 years. I collect the positive and use them as candles, and I also use the negatives and to analyze the proper points to reach my task and reaching the end state. So I was able to believe in myself, believe in my ability, and believe also in my reachable tasks and goals and the end state, which is the Olympic medals. And from that, Allah, God helped me too much in my achievement.
Fehaid, I would like to direct a question to Vincent at this stage. Vincent, you started shooting when you were very young and won the Shooter of the Year award when you were still very young. How did it feel? I mean, did you feel what you have achieved at that stage in life?
I don't know if I really understood exactly what that achievement was at the time. And I know that I was just chasing a goal. At that time, nothing really mattered to me outside of getting to the Olympics and winning a gold medal. And not necessarily the way that I think about it now. I think that the mindset has certainly changed over the years as I've gotten older. But in 2005, it was an incredible year. And I got to travel really for the first time ever. I got to compete in my first World Cup, my first World Championship, my first World Cup final. And I had a lot of success. I think that kind of, it set the stage more so leading into the Beijing Games than it did to really help me understand what my dreams really were. But I do know that having that success that early made me understand that I can accomplish anything I set my goals to, set my mind on. And many people told me that I was too young to compete on a world level, that I was too young to win, and that there was no way I was going to be able to repeat what I was doing. So the very hard-headed person that I am, I set my mind towards proving them wrong. And it was just extra motivation to continue doing my best, to continue training hard, every possible day that I could. And it set the foundation. It set the bar really high, but it set the foundation for me to continue the process throughout my career.
I would just like to ask you one small question in between. How much of it you divide between your hard work and your mindset? What percentage you would give to your mindset and what percentage you would give to your hard work?
It's a very difficult thing to describe that and to try to divvy that up. The old saying is that shooting is 90% 90% physical and 10% mental. The problem is that you can get to 90% out of 100 just based on mechanics. But that last 10% is really a mental game. And you have to continue working on your physical side, yes, but that 10% is the hardest part to get. So what I end up doing is when you get to that 90% on the physical side, then it flip-flops, and then it becomes 90% mental and 10% physical to get those last 10 targets out of 100. And
yeah, that's right.
So you have to have a very keen mindset to understand that position and understand the hard work that it takes, because a lot of people, once they put in the hard work and they get to a certain level, but then they think that they should automatically be there. They should be at the top. But what they don't realize is that you have to continue to push through, and it's that mindset that allows you to continue pushing through and putting in that hard work to be able to get to the elite level, or the best in the world.
Okay. Yeah, Ritika, you can.
We have Mr. Peter Wilson, and we've all heard that your father has had a significant impact on shooting as your career. Would you like to share that with us?
Wow. Well, a bit like Fehaid said earlier, I feel like the odd one out here. You've got two truly incredible champions in Fehaid Al-Deehani and Vincent Hancock, and two people I have always looked up to and no doubt will continue to look up to. So, I've only been to one Olympics and won one medal. These guys have been to multiple and won multiple medals, and that is incredible. And I was really enjoying just listening to both of those two chaps talk. With regards to my father, he got me into the sport of shooting at a fairly young age of about 8 with an air gun, moving me into a shotgun at about the age of 10, 12. I can't be any more exact than that. That was a 410 gun that was broken down, and I used to chase sort of squirrels and rabbits in the garden and in fields. As it happens, we're actually cutting hay here on the farm at the moment, which is why I'm in our sort of clapped out farm truck watching the tractors working. So I'm still very much attached to the farm and always have been. And that led me into clay shooting through trying to perfect my technique in the hunting field. And I just fell in love with the sport. But at that time, it was sporting. It was non-Olympic. And it was through a chance encounter with Richard Folds, the 2000 Olympic gold medalist in double trap, who said that I should really have a look at one of the 3 Olympic disciplines. And I fell in love at the time with double trap. And my dad all along has supported me, from driving me to competitions, to training, to standing there. And knowing these guys well, they'll be able to concur that pressing the repeat button, something as simple as that, allowing you to train over and over and over again on a specific target that you may be struggling with, and having him there just to do that was just a huge help, right through to having sort of potential breakdowns on the range and not being able to make any progress, and him always being there to pick me up and put me back together again and tell me that I'm good at this and I need to just keep persevering. You will eventually get there. And then obviously other people surround you along with your coach. And we mentioned already Sheikh Ahmed Al Maktoum, who was hugely instrumental, and my mum and my wife and 2 little kids now. And the team is a big one. So you do need a really good support network, but was pillared around my dad.
Here, Fehaid, can I ask you something about send you back in your old times? You stopped shooting after you winning the medal at the Sydney Games for a few years. What made you restart after giving a gap of so many years?
Murad, I want to speak about the mental training first. I like what the champion Vincent mentioned. I want to add something on that. Uh, so many shooters in the world make a lot of mistake by making mental training early. I think they should reach 98% of physical training and become very strong. From that point, when you reach the 98%, you have to start your mental training. Otherwise, any mistake you will analyze. When you analyze, you will go down back for bad thinking, because when you analyze, you are off of the mechanic of shooting, how to shoot. So don't make your mental training until you become very strong in your event, until you reach 98, 99% or 100. Then you make the mental training with the specialist and make some problem, the small problems, like some people talking behind you, and you after that you overcome these problems step by step and become more stronger. Don't make your mental training if you are not strong. Do your fundamental, do your basic, do your strength in your event. Then after that, you have to go for mental training. And for the other part of the question, Sydney. In Sydney 2000, I won my first medal. My country also won the first Olympic medal ever. Then from that, we as a Kuwaiti shooter facing problem with the federation, and we lose some ability of competing with the high level shooter. So from that, the problems take away on my life until 2009. I stopped for 4 years or 5 years, not shooting, not touching my gun. Then Sheikh Salman spoke with me and he told me, Fehaid, please come back. You are able to compete in the Olympic Games and the World Champions and all events. Then after 1 hour and 20 minutes, he was convincing me to come back. Then I decided to come back in 2009. 2010, I get my first international medal back. Then 2012, I won my second Olympic medal in London. Then from that, the problem relief a little bit. Then in 2016 is another matter. 2016, you need a book to say the quantity of the problem that I faced before I compete in 2016 in Rio de Janeiro. It was a challenge. It was something incredible. Yeah, nobody can win that. But I think God helped me to win that, to overcome all the problem and win the medal. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, we'd like to ask Mr. Vincent, now that you have already qualified for the Tokyo Olympics and your team has been announced, how do you see your journey from now till the Olympics would be held?
I think it's just a continuation of what I've already been doing over the last few years. I will say that my training plan has changed because these last couple of months we haven't been able to get out to the range due to the pandemic that's going across and our business is shutting down. So my intention was always to take off time after this Olympics this year. And now that everything has been backed up a year, I'm taking that time off this year. It allows me to mentally and physically reset, and to be able to be here with my family for an extended period of time is not something that I get very often. So I'm taking advantage of it as much as I can. I'm still out coaching some athletes. One of my students made the U.S. Olympic team as well. So I'm working with her and like I said, a couple others. So I'm still out at the range. I still shoot a little bit here and there. But for the most part, again, I'm taking that just mental time away from the game. And when I did that after Rio in 2016, I took off a little over 7 months. And I was able to come back completely refreshed and ready to train. I mean, I enjoyed training. I wanted to go out each and every day and learn. And that's what I need. I need that motivation to continue the process and to continue the hard work. So when I came back, I did extremely well for 2 years. I went almost undefeated on the international and domestic side for a little over a year and a half. And so that's kind of what my hope and expectation is moving forward. I'm taking off this time now, getting reset, getting remotivated to go out and train extremely hard and to go out next year and compete at a very high level.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next, we have a question for Mr. Peter Wilson. Your coach, Mr. Ahmed himself, is an Olympic gold medalist. Why did you choose him? And tell us, how was it to train with a champion? And what's that one thing that he told you which made a difference in your life as a person?
Well, I chose him on the basis that I believe, and still do, that he's one of the greatest Olympic double trap shots that's ever lived. I felt like I had nothing to lose except to hear the answer no if I was to ask him to help me. So when we were in Beijing, I was there as a spectator. He was competing. I simply sort of sidled up to him in the athlete zone and behind the main stand and just asked him if he'd give me some pointers and explain my situation. And I won't go into great detail, but essentially it was a tricky point in time for me. And I just asked him for some help. And he said that he might be able to give more than just a few pointers. He may be able to give me more substantial coaching. And I couldn't believe my luck. So we caught up the next day and did a sort of deal, if you can call it that, over a handshake. And that was August 2008. By February 2009, my family and I were in Dubai, sitting outside his palace, and a cup of coffee and a more serious handshake. And he became my coach in a more official capacity. And he has been instrumental in my success. I would never be the person I am, nor the competitor I am today, without his support and help. He's an amazing athlete physically, in the sense that he was and still is incredibly fit. He now suffers with a sort of dodgy heart, so he's not quite as fit as he once was. And so he taught me how to train my body and my mind, whereas before I'd been really only working on my mind and had sort of some roadblocks that I was unable to get over. And with his help, I went on to do what I did. But I really do put a lot of weighting on his role in my little team. In terms of what he taught me, I'd say one of the best parts was probably just before the Olympic final, and that was, I was going in with a 3-target lead into the final, which is, these guys will attest is a fair lead in any of the disciplines. And I was at home Olympics, lots of pressure, as you can imagine, and I was bouncing up and down in our rest area, preparing to go out, 15 minutes to go before athletes called, and I was really nervous. And he came in and said, "How are you feeling?" I said, "Yeah, fine. Yeah, absolutely fine. No, I'm great. I've never been better." He said, "You're nervous, aren't you?" "You're really nervous." I said, "Well, a little bit." And I never really wanted to play up to the fact that I was petrified. And he just said, "It's okay." And just a little thing like that, to be told by someone you really admire and who's been there and done it before, that it is okay to be nervous and that you're going to feel a series of things as you go through that final. And I won't go into great detail because a lot of what he tells me I'm not allowed to divulge. But to be told that it's okay to be nervous, and to be told that you're going to feel X, Y, and Z as you go through the final. And we used to break it down from 50 targets to 10 to 2, and was great. And that just gave me a sort of level head going into that, well, for me, my sort of most pressurized situation of my life. And so, yeah, an amazing guy, and still, lucky to have him as my coach. now that I've moved into Olympic trap, and look forward to hopefully many more years with him as my coach.
Fehaid, I would like to just move away from shooting at this stage and to a different kind of problem as such. You were there when Iraq invaded Kuwait, and that some parts of it I've already heard from you, but would you like to share your experience, the first-hand experience of that invasion, what you faced and what, because you fought that war also. That is something which people don't know about. They know about your shooting. So would you like to share your experience of the invasion, please?
Okay. It's a very bad memory. When Iraq invaded us, it was 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. Then we are three brothers, all officers, army officers, and we work in one brigade. And that time we are in vacation. When we wake up 5 o'clock, we didn't know that Iraqi was invaded Kuwait. My elder brother Badr, wake me up and he said, "Fehaid, Iraqis invaded us." Then we wear our uniform, and immediately we want to go to our brigade. Believe me, that time all the streets are full of Iraqi soldiers. The two-way are flooded with tanks of Iraqi army, and everywhere we go was blocked. Then we call our brigade. What is the situation? They said, the communication squadron, we don't know nothing about our brigade. They go toward Jahra city, and they fight with the enemy, with the Iraqis. And the other division of Iraqi countered them. Then I said, give us the place of our brigade to join. They said, we don't know because they are moving. Once the commander give us the place, we will tell you. But I am officer, and I know that the commander will not give the position of the brigade for the signals. So he won't reveal the position because there is a war. So we are searching for the brigade all the time. We couldn't find them, and we realized that time that we are three brothers will stuck between the Iraqi army somewhere, and we will get caught. So we decided to go back to Kuwait and change the uniform, take our Kuwaiti dress, and go back to our brigade because we have another uniform there and to join. But believe me, we are searching all the day. We couldn't find them because they are moving. But thanks God, our brigade that time fight against the Iraqi army, and he destroyed 2 divisions in his place until they finished all the ammunitions. Then they retreat back to Saudi border, and they enter the Saudi Arabia border. We couldn't find them. We go back to Kuwait. Then after 1 week, we have a call from our brigade that we are in Saudi Arabia and the border of Kuwait, and we are waiting for you to join because we will make another attacks inside the Iraqi troops. So we joined them after that. This is the bad experience, but you cannot imagine what is our situation. We are searching between the Iraqi troops, and every moment we should cut.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Thanks for sharing that part of it.
Thank you. Next, we do have a question for Mr. Vincent. You did mention that the current time is giving you enough time to spend with your family, but Otherwise, we understand that at the level that you are, you have a very hectic schedule. So how do you really, balance out things between, time between work and family? How do you do that?
It's not necessarily easy, and I'm not going to
I
lie and
imagine.
say that I'm the best at doing it. Uh, I try my best to be as present when I'm home as possible. When I say that, I leave all the shooting thoughts at the range, and when I come home, I just want to be a husband and a father. Like I said, I can definitely do a lot better in both of those avenues. But what I learned is when I was younger, I would keep the same mindset. I would go to the range, and I am this one person when I'm on the range. I'm a very extremely A-type, motivated, driven type person when I'm on the range, and that mindset can be not so helpful in a family setting, because it lends itself to, for me at least, being very selfish. Um, so over the years, I've had to learn how to try to compartmentalize, or to break down into different times the person that I need to be. And so when I'm on the range, I can be that person. I can enjoy myself out on the range. I can focus. I can drive. I can shoot, compete with myself every day. And then whenever I get in the car to head back home, I take that time to kind of slow myself back down and say, okay, now I need to be present for my family, because they don't need this guy that's out there competing on the range and is really focused on how perfect I can be. I need to be perfect for them, and I need to be driven and motivated for them. It's a totally different mindset for me, and maybe it's not different for other people, but for me, I have to focus on that. So I enjoy being an athlete, and I enjoy being a husband and a father. It's just you can't be the same that I have found, and it is what it is. So I've enjoyed the learning process. I've enjoyed the opportunities that I've gotten to watch myself change and grow over the years. We started a family that when we were fairly young. Our first daughter was born whenever we were 21 years old, so we were young. And now I'm 31, so we've definitely learned a lot.
So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Vincent. Peter, I'll take you again away. I see that you're sitting in a car, so I would take you to your driving skills. I believe you were in India driving all around the place in an ambassador car. Is that true?
That's true. Not very
What
well.
was
I broke down a few times.
Okay, what was the experience like? I mean, anything interesting?
Well, from driving in England to driving in India, it's like North Pole, South Pole sort of stuff. It was an experience and a half. Yeah, I was in the car with my girlfriend, now wife, and she was map reading, and I was driving over a 2-week period. And I'll never forget this one moment. We were driving up a hill, and of course, in England you'd never do this, but in India it's the norm, it seems. And we were trying to overtake a bus coming up to a blind bend on a hill, and I didn't think we had enough power. So I beeped my horn. I didn't indicate. I came out, overtook, and I was about parallel with the bus. Just had my nose in front, and the accelerator snapped, and so I lost all power. And we just began to slow down, and the bus makes these wonderful noises, and everyone loves it when I do my best to do it, and it goes as I'm trying my best to sort of cut in front of it. I'm swaying with my hands, I'm waving. At the same time, I see another bus coming round the blind bend in front of me, and it's now seconds from my death, and I'm just thinking, this is it. I'm gonna die in an ambassador in India, driving up a hill, and I don't know what to do. And there was a sheer wall of rock on my right, and a bus on my left, a white bus. And thank God he realized there was something going wrong as I was swerving all over the road, and he was beeping his horn, and luckily braked, and we swerved in just in time. It was, I can't tell you how close it was. I don't know how we didn't crash. It would just so happen that we then stopped right there next to a learner driver school. So we stopped the car, and it was steaming, and everyone came out. I mean, all sorts of ages. I can't understand how anyone could be driving at this age, but like sort of 6, 7-year-old children up to the age of about 20. And we had them all around the car trying to help us. It was an amazing experience, from terrifying to incredible. No, I loved it, and I love India. And my roommate at school was from Delhi, so I went out to India on holiday when I was about 16, and I've been going back regularly, both to shoot and on holiday. And in this instance, it was a two-week vacation. It was brilliant fun, but that was the particularly poignant moment in my trip where I thought, yeah, this might be my time faced with a white bus, both coming straight at me and to my left.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Al-Deehani, you had mentioned in your conversation that you're very close to your father and that you spend time with him every day. In fact, we know that he doesn't even have lunch without you, and I think that is like really special. Are there any other childhood memories that you'd like to share with us?
The last part of the question?
Are there any special childhood memories that you would like to share with us?
I have a lot of good memory. I would share this one. Before I become officer, I was like 15 years old. My elder brother, Badr, he was officer, and he has one of the soldier. He's very annoying. He wants to leave the work every day, and he came to our house, my father's house, and he rang the bell. My brother saw him from the upstairs, and he said, Fehaid, tell him I'm not here. I don't like this guy. And I said, but you are here. Just go to the other part of the house. He said, yes, I don't want you to lie. I will go in the other part. Then I go, my brother names is Badr, okay? And I opened the door for him, and he said, are your brother here? I said, which Badr? I don't tell him which brother. I told him, which Badr? I told the name. And he was laughing, and he said, go and call him. Then I called him. I said, Badr, I cannot lie. I told him, which Badr? You have to go. Then from that time until now, he was remind me of this one. Which Badr? You are dumb. So many.
Thank you.
Vincent, I just want to check with you. You equal the Indian shooter Angad Bajwa's final world record, and you are also his coach. How did it feel? I mean, he was your student, and then you had to go and equal his world record. How did it feel doing that?
I mean, it was pretty neat, honestly. Angad and I had been working together for a little while before that match, and it was fun. I mean, I got to talk with him quite a bit throughout that process, throughout that match, and kind of just communicating back and forth. He's a phenomenal shooter and a really good person too. And so when he called me afterwards and told me that he shot the world record, I was ecstatic. That was an amazing feat because nobody had done it yet. And so the next year, thankfully, I got to go to a place that I shoot extremely well at in Acapulco, Mexico. And I think I've set 3 world records there now. And everything just lined up. I had shot, I think, 3 59s that year prior to Angad shooting the 60.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I was close. And I had shot a lot of 60s in practice. But going to Mexico, everything just lined up really good. And I was looking forward to it. I will say that I wanted to do it first, but he beat me to it. And that's all right, though. I would rather it be him if it wasn't me. So it was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to watching him continue to compete and competing against him now.
Oh, that's good. Peter, just before London Olympics, if I can, take you back, just before London Olympics, everybody wanted to go and train in London in those conditions and the English conditions. But you went to Italy to train before the Olympics. What was so interesting about going to Italy? I mean, why did you go to Italy to train instead of training in London?
I have also one question I'd love to ask Vincent, but I will certainly answer your question as well. And that question for Vincent would be: Do you believe as much as I do, and I think you do, and I would say the same for Fehaid, in bulk training? The amount of shooting you do. A lot of people talk about the sheer amount of training that I do and others do, and it would be really nice, for me certainly, to be able to ask him on here and to get his take on sort of the volume that he has done in the past and he believes in. Aside from that, your question, I went to India to train with the great Ranjan Saudi, and a brilliant shooter, a great friend of mine. And in the build up to 2012, I felt was, along with Josh Richmond, I would pin them down as my biggest adversaries. I really felt like they had everything, all the tools to win an Olympic gold medal in London. And America being just that bit too far, I approached Ranjan and asked him if I could come and train with him. And I went out to the Middle East actually to see Ahmed for a couple of weeks, flew from Dubai to Rome, and then met up with Ranjan to train. And I've got some stories about that trip. I'm not sure quite how many I'm allowed to tell you. I might tell you one, but I'll give you a flavor of what training is like with Ranjan Saudi. So I turn up and I bring 1,500 shells to the range on a sack trolley. I put them down. I'm on the range at about 8 a.m. Weather's beautiful. There's no one there, and I start training. And at about 11:30 late morning, Ranjan turns up, bottle of whiskey in hand, couple of shot glasses. Said, "Peter, come on, let's have a drink. Let's celebrate." I said, "What's there to celebrate?" He said, "Well, look, you're here. We're both going to the Olympics. It's great." I said, "No. I'm dedicated to my training. I'm really struggling, and I wasn't shooting particularly well." Anyway, he drank his and he drank mine, and then he sort of he went off, got his stuff, dusted himself down, turned up, took with him 100 cartridges. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm just going to shoot 2 rounds and then I've got to go." He shot 50 out of 50, beat me. I said, "That's impossible." He shot 50 out of 50, so he was now 100 straight. And I think I was probably at that point at my best, about 47, 48 most. So he gave me a pasting. Now, this didn't happen just on one day. This was a regular occurrence for about 10 days straight. He beat me every day. So I don't know quite how he didn't win the Olympics and how I did. Maybe the stars aligned, only a matter of a month later. This guy is so talented, and I really felt, that he didn't quite get the most out of himself in London. But that's not his fault. It's just that's sport, and again, we would all attest to that. It can be brutal, it can be beautiful at the same time, and we had a lot of fun in the build-up. You know what? This journey, it's really difficult. We'll all agree with that. It's a really, really difficult journey. If it was easy, then every single one on this Zoom call would have Olympic gold medals hanging around their neck. It's not like that. It's hard, and for that reason, it's a beautiful, brilliant journey. And for every reason, I love it for that. I love it for that because it's so damn difficult. And sadly, not all of us get to achieve what we maybe set out to achieve. But if you can do it and enjoy and make friends along that journey, as I believe you've been able to do, it's a very special thing.
Ritika, if you will just go on to the last question, because we are already pretty late. If you could just ask them, then we will take it out from there.
When you are interacting with 3 Olympic gold medalists, no amount of time can be enough. But I do understand that, I'd like to ask this question to Mr. Vincent Hancock and Mr. Al-Deehani. You have, won so many championships. What does it really take to win again and again? So maybe Mr. Vincent would like to say something first.
If I knew the answer to that, then I could probably sell it for a lot of money. But I think it's to each person is their own understanding. And for me, in particular, it's the desire to win. And it's also for the fact that I hate losing. I really despise losing. And so every time I step out on the range, I expect to win. A lot of people say don't do that. Stay in the moment and just do what you can do. And for the most part, I see that in myself, that I go out and one of the little monikers that I use is I'm going to do my best and let God take care of the rest. But being out there on the range, I can't just resign myself to the fact of I'm going to shoot whatever I shoot today, and it doesn't matter, because to me it does matter. And I know that when I stay focused and when I stay driven and motivated and really push myself hard to just do the things that I know that it takes to break a target, then I am by far the best in the world, and nobody can beat me. And I say that not to be cocky. It's because that's what we have to tell ourselves. We have to stay confident when we're out there on the range. I firmly believe, especially whenever I'm back off the range and talking to anybody else, anybody can be beaten on any given day. And it's whether or not, especially at the Olympics, the stars really truly do have to align for you to be the best you can possibly be on only 2 days at once every 4 years. It's an extremely difficult feat to be able to accomplish that. And then you have to stay focused, when you have thousands of people behind you in the stands and you're up against the best in the world and you're competing and you're head to head, you're right there. Now we don't have any leads at all to be able to take into the final, which I wish that we did. I liked that. Peter can attest to going into the final with a lead is very helpful. And it also feels, and it feels like, you've worked hard for 2 days. It would be nice to be able to take that lead into it, but we don't have that anymore. So you have to stay focused, driven, motivated to continue to do your best each and every shot. And I think that's where it really boils down to, is you have to believe in yourself and just drive, push hard to try to accomplish your goal and accomplish your dream.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really helpful.
Your views on this, Fehaid? Winning again and again.
I totally agree with Mr. Hancock. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to not celebrate the winning of the round. If you shoot one round and you accomplish this round, don't celebrate. Just tell yourself, so what? And you have to minor what happened to you. When achieve the maximum achievement, just go and say to yourself, so what? To keep up and go push yourself for the another level. And when you believe in yourself, you will be able to achieve your goal. The hard work and the mental training, and sometimes you have to cheat yourself. Once you compete with the other shooter, which is Olympic medalist or world champion, you have to don't let yourself to go out of your circle of your concentration. Just push up to your movement. The circle of concentration is a procedure and the movement of yourself, of your posture. If you are thinking on this with interval times, each step, you are not letting your mind to go out of this circle and think of bad things. So this will help you to keep up and push yourself to the limit of competing. And once the day is written as your day, you will win. And it's very difficult to win all the competition. I achieved 131 medal, 131 international medal, but I lose a lot of medals, I lose a lot of competition. But when I push myself and I got the opportunity to win, I will not give up. And this is my perspective.
Uh, Peter, do you think anything different from the other two champions?
No, in just the same way, I would reiterate what they've said. You know, it's a winning mentality ultimately, and I guess you could argue that we all share it. What I would love to do though is ask, as if I'm allowed, ask my question earlier to both Vincent and Fehaid about volume, because it's certainly something that I get asked a lot, and I don't know if it would be of any interest to those people who are watching this, just how much one should train. You know, whether that's in the gym or on the range. To give you a flavour, I've tried most things. That's how I am. I've done anything from 4 hours in the gym a day for about 3.5 months before I thought I was going to die, because I just wasn't eating right. I wasn't fueling my body in the way that I should. I was doing 2 hours in the morning, training all day, 2 hours in the evening. That didn't work. I then went back to 2 hours every other day. That worked a lot better. So that gives you a flavor. And I did loads of different stuff in between all of that, through to shooting, 1,000 cartridges a day, 1,500 cartridges a day, 200 cartridges a day. And I'd just be really interested in their take on it, if I'm allowed to ask those questions, maybe first of all to Vincent, then to Fehaid.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. I would say that I've been right where you're at. I've probably tried a little bit of everything. And what I've found is each person is different, and you have to find that groove that works best for you. Now, for me, in the physical side of things, I work really hard during the off season to get my body to where it needs to be. And then I go into a level of trying to maintain throughout the course of the season. Now, right now, I'm trying to do something a little bit different, and I'm working with our team physical therapist, who's also a high-level strength and conditioning coach, to kind of change this whole program around and change my body around to be able to handle the physical training side throughout the course of the year, but also to manage the issues that I've had with my body in the past, between my shoulder and my back. Trying to find out a way to make it to where I can get through a whole season pain-free. And now on the shooting side, when I was younger, I was definitely a bulk guy. I was shooting anywhere from probably, for skeet, this is a lot. For double trap, because you're shooting 2 shots in a row, I used to shoot, when I shot double trap, I shot a lot too. And there, it would be 500-600 a day on double trap, in addition to everything that I shot in skeet. But for skeet, I used to shoot probably anywhere from 70 to 80,000 rounds a year, which obviously, as you know, that's a lot of shells. And it was an everyday, 7-day-a-week thing, constant, from probably the age of about 14 to probably through the 2008 Olympics. So I was 19 in Beijing. And then as I've gone through, I've taken that volume down considerably. Now, right now, I probably shoot about 25,000 rounds a year. And for me, that's worked out really good, because I've stressed so much more as I've gotten older, the quality of each and every shot that I take. And because I've been doing this now for shooting international skeet for 20 years, I don't need the same bulk that I was doing before, because I know every single move that I need to make. It's more so perfecting that move and making sure that one of the fun things that I'm telling my students now too, especially Austin Smith, who's on the Olympic team with me this year, she was a bulk person too, and she was shooting 80,000 rounds for several years, but she's 19 now, and she's starting to get in that same process. So she's starting to go into the quality and making sure that every single shot counts, and her scores are going up. And it's because she has that that basis of mechanics, and now she's understanding that it's okay to shoot a perfect day. And that's our goal, is when we come out, we're going to shoot either 2 rounds or 3 rounds, because that's our course of fire during a match. I want you to shoot a 75 straight on the 3 days. And then I want you to shoot a 60 out of 60 in the final. And then I want you to shoot 2 or 3 more boxes, maybe 4 more boxes. And I want you to be perfect on those too. If you can do that, don't shoot until you miss. Accept the fact that you can have perfect days. Because when you have those perfect days, when you go to a competition, you shoot a 75 straight, it's just another day. That's what you expect. It's not, I'm going to shoot until I miss. So I have to miss every day before I can quit. No, it's, you don't have to miss at all for days in a row. And that's okay. That's a good thing. And what I've seen is it just builds the confidence and builds the longevity of being able to continually go out and shoot perfect rounds.
Okay, yeah, I think before we just wind up this wonderful session, I would just let out one secret, Fayed, with your permission. Whenever the weather is bad in Kuwait, there is thunderstorm, there is rain, or there's sandstorm, and if anybody wants to go and look for where Fehaid Al-Deehani is, we'll be shooting. When people cannot see the clays, they cannot open their eyes, and in case there is bad weather, he rushes to the range and goes and shoots. Now, I don't think he does that now, but he was doing that earlier. Fehaid, you remember those days?
Yes, I remember. I would like to answer also Mr. Peter Wilson question. It's a very good question. So many coaches make the plan for the shooter, how many they have to shoot, how many rounds a week. This is not good for a champion. I think the champion, he should go for the work hard. They have to shoot a lot, and they have to shoot alone, not with the other shooters. Because if you shoot with the 6 shooter in the trap, double trap or skeet, and you need to shoot after the 6 shooter is shot, it's long period of time to wait. You will think sometimes you go off of the shooting, thinking away. I think the proper way that I'm done, that I have done in my life, I shoot alone most of my training because I want to repeat, and the muscle memory work with me consistently each time. So I have short time from station to station and from shot to shot, collecting so many information for my brain, for my muscle memory to become very precise for every movement, for every time of the movement also. So it is very important to shoot alone and shoot too much when you practice on the proper way, following the best training, then the best practicing. So when you repeat too much, you will collect a lot of information that when you shoot with the other shooter, you will collect small of information because of the gap of the time. And Murad, thank you that you mentioned that what I have done in the earlier years. Yes, when the storms comes, I go to shoot immediately. When the rain comes, I go to shoot. When it's become very windy, I go to shoot. I want to overcome all the situations that will face the shooter in the competition. So I consider myself that I am very strong when the wind blows in any competition in the world, because I was trained for that. I gave myself the opportunity to practice on that. So this is my advice for any athlete or any shooter. Push yourself to the limit. Go forever, yeah, for whatever situation face you. Go and push yourself. Try yourself. Test yourself until you overcome all these, let's say, bad situations. This is my what I see.
Thank you, Fayed. Thank you, Vincent, and thank you, Peter. I'll just give it over to Ritika. Yes.
Thank
Ritika,
you.
you can carry on.
We all have to agree that the session so far, we've not even realized how time has passed because it has been so informative, it has been so encouraging. And we also have some very senior persons from the media, and I would really like them to ask questions. I would request Mr. Kamesh to please ask a question in case you would like to our guests today. Ramesh sir.
Thank you, all three of you. It has been an amazing time listening to you all. It's many, many lifetimes information. Thank you very much. I have nothing more to ask you. People have been telling us so much, so beautifully. Thanks a ton. I'm sure Indian shooting and world shooting will benefit so much out of all your experiences, and so willingly you people have shared it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. We also have Mr. Robin Bose. I would request him to please ask his question. Mr. Robin Bose, in case he's here. Else, I would request Mr. Vinay to please ask his question. So, you may like to ask something.
First of all, thank you everyone for having me here. I hope everybody can listen to me.
Yes, yes, you're audible.
This question can be answered by any of the greats here. Obviously, the sport has changed a lot. The rules have changed a lot. Obviously, it keeps on changing. As I've been speaking to a lot of shooters and former shooters, one thing that comes across is that not everybody is happy with the mixed team event. So I just want to pick your brains as to what you guys think about the mixed team events in shotgun and other shooting disciplines.
It's rubbish.
Hey, I just wish
What
that we
else
had
do you
one
want
of
me
those
to say?
I just wish that we had one for ski. So it's I'll let them talk about the trap mixed team since I don't even get to compete in one.
So guys, anybody?
Thank you.
I'm happy to digress. I'm happy to digress to Vincent on this one. Okay, for my 10 pence, I honestly don't think it's up to much. I don't think that they've been able to achieve what they tried to achieve. This sort of symbiosis between male and female, this idea of it being somehow fun to watch. I personally find it boring. I don't think they've got it. And what I'm not trying to say is that they can't get it. It's at the moment they just haven't got it, and it's not what it was set out to achieve. So I'm not trying to tell them how to do their job. It's just that I think what they've got at the moment is a pretty rubbish recipe. And will I be watching it, or competing in it? God knows. In the future, I just think it's just a bit of a sad state of affairs when we could be doing so much more with that spot. And bear in mind, most people could argue sour grapes. It was what replaced double trap. I'm happy to admit that. I do think double trap was a better spectator sport. But I think there was in all three disciplines, and I think in this instance it was like putting a sticking plaster over a gaping wound. I don't know if you guys got that. I can't hear a thing. Maybe I've been removed from the Zoom call after my.
No,
rant.
you're there. You're there. We can hear you, Peter, very well. You are there.
Great.
Oh, brilliant. Well done. I wasn't sure if my earpods had broken in time that I'd been babbling on.
No, you were very much there. Okay, Ritika.
So we have Mr. Raju also here with us, and we'd like him to ask a question if you'd like to our guests.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to listen such a wonderful experiences. Though I'm not a shooter, but I'm father of a shooter, Shapat Bharadwaj. So it was really, I got very vital inputs, the nitty-gritties about how to train the mind and the body to achieve the goal, the highest goals. So thank you so much. I don't think that I have any question to ask, because today I was just listening, imbibing knowledge. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ritika, I think we've
Yes.
got the message that people will be going, these people. So if you can just wind up now.
To close this particular episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times would not be complete till we have Mr. Ranjan Sodhi, who has been very instrumental in helping us organize all of this. I would request Mr. Ranjan Sodhi to please come and say a quick hello to our guests today. Thank you.
So first of all, I'd like to thank everybody, Peter, Vincent, and Fehaid. And see, it's happy times. So let me start with Peter first. And I heard what you told everybody about me. So yesterday, Fehaid had a question. So he says, where does he keep his laptop? So if may ask, what instrument are you using today?
An iPhone.
Are you hanging it from the ceiling of the car or something?
No, I've got it on. I've got my.
No, because his question was because he keeps it on the table, it can only show your chest, not your face.
Will my
I can't hear you. Yeah,
say that
because
I'm
that's
standing-
what Fred
standing
said.
at
He said because if he works on the table, then we only see his chest, not his face.
Thanks.
Good on.
Hey, love you too.
I don't worry, I'll get back to you, my dear, after this, because on a public platform, can't say much. Okay, I know what you did to me. Okay, so can we go to Vincent? Vincent, okay, I have a question
Hey,
for
look,
you.
I didn't go full crazy on you. I could have gone full crazy. There are so many more
That
stories.
was enough.
to tell.
That was enough. That was enough. So Vincent, so we talking about somebody who's 6 feet 5 inches. I always felt I'm a midget in front of these double trap shooters. Like you have Ella and Joshua. They're all like 6'2", 6'3". So always felt like a midget in front of them. But where is in Skeet SE, you guys are short, and you scored like almost half like your height. You scored. So what is it like? Do you see the target better when you like? What do you see? Which part of the target do you see?
Absolutely. So I've always wanted to be tall, and I think I was like 5'7" when I was like 14 years old and maybe 15 years old. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get to 6 feet, like, because every guy in my family is 6 feet tall, right? And so I just like stopped growing at 5'8" whenever I had just turned 16 and I was 5'8" and just stopped. So I'm like, okay, well, God has cursed me with shortness. Hopefully there's gonna be a benefit from that. So now what I tell everybody is, okay, I'm a good skeet shooter because I'm short and because I can see the bottom edge of the target. I can see more target than
That's my
Peter
point.
can
That's my
because
point. Yeah.
He's
What do you
up
see?
high and can
Yeah.
only see the edge. Well, I have an advantage. I finally found something that being short is good for. So I'm going to exploit this, and I'm going to take advantage of it as much as possible.
Okay. All right. That was my question. Okay. One last question to Fehaid as we're talking. So Fehaid, you've been a commando in the army.
Okay.
Fehaid, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Tell me.
You're a commando and everything. So if you have to punch Peter today, where would you punch him?
You have to attack his knee. The same level.
Not above? Not a little
No.
above?
Start with the knee.
Okay.
Then he will collapse step by step.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all so much, for
Brilliant.
joining in. And I thought this is Manav Rachna happy time. So, let's have a little fun in the end. So thank you so much for joining in. It's been really, really nice, to have you all. And we should connect more often. And, there's so much to learn from you all. And I'm going to be watching this again and again. Thank you all so much.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ranjan, sir.
thank you.
Thank you,
for
Ranjan.
having us.
You are
Running with
one
us.
of the best champions in the world.
Oh, come on.
Yes. This is the truth. Ranjan was one of the best shooter in the world in double trap, and one of the strongest one. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree
This
more.
is the truth.
Yeah. Thank you for the kind words, Faith. We'll connect soon. And
Inshallah.
I'll make sure that I drive you next time. And Peter, you also, because I understood you struggle with your ambassador. So I've got few cars here, so you can take mine next time, So don't worry.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I never
So,
thought
I'm
I'd be mentioning that.
Yeah, don't worry. Next time, whenever we get in trouble, give me a call, okay? Don't worry about the honking and everything there. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you so
Peter.
much.
Nice talking to you. Yeah, I'll get back to you
Thank
on
you
that.
very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ranjan
Bye.
sir. Thank you so much for those words.
Bye-bye.
And with that, almost coming to the end of this series of Manav Rachna Happy Times, I would like to thank all three of you for taking out your valuable time. I must say that we just made one call and you agreed to be a part of this episode in one go. That talks so much about you, how much passion you carry to encourage everybody, and how much happiness that you'd like to spread around for everyone. The entire session has been very inspiring, encouraging, motivating for everyone. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank Mr. Murad Khan, who has joined us for this episode of Happy Times. This definitely made a lot of difference, sir, to have you here with us. And last but not the least, I would like to thank our Vice President, Dr. Amit Bhalla, because it was his idea to have a concept like that. Thank you so much. That really makes all the difference. One last word from you, sir.
Thank you everyone. It was a very nice and informative session. I hope that we should organize some more series like this with our budding shooters who are coming up as new champions. So it was wonderful listening to all of you, and thank you very much for sparing out your time and being with us at this moment. Thank you very much, and take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Well, and that brings us to the end of this session. Thank you very much. Please do stay connected with us and do keep watching our Manav Rachna Happy Times every week. That will help you stay connected with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And now I would request the guests to leave before I can end the session. Thank you.